Okay, now let's learn about aggregate function. It is very important functionality of the database. Aggregate means a kind of summary. So why we store information in the database? Because later we want to use this information for useful decision making. And to make a big decision, small details are important, but at the same time, summarize, aggregate all the data, and make a meaningful summary information is sometimes more important for particularly upper level managers. As an example, let's say we have a product here, and yes, we have a total 16 products. And all details are given in this table, but managers may want to know, okay, how many total products we have. Then what you need to do, you will still use this product table, but we are going to simply count it. So from the beginning, the first row to the end, if you count it, you will figure out what's the result. Only one number, 16. So 16, the number of products, is continuous summary data of all those 16 instances of the product. That kind of information is called aggregate data. Aggregate data is so still using multiple data. However, the result is summarized, more concise data. So how can we do that? We need to apply some special functions. So let's look at the SQL. So here we are going to use select statements again. And let's decide what we are going to select. But we will use which table? Product table. So still we are going to use product table with the 16 products. But this part, the selection part is aggregated. So what we want to aggregate? We want to count the behavior, the functions that we are conducting to get this summary data. That is count. And when we count, count is a kind of function. If you learned about programming, function is typically, using some parameters. Parameter is a kind of input. So what we are going to count, in that case, if you just simply count regardless of columns or the rows, you can just put star. As we have done before, select star means everything. But more strictly speaking, we are counting, let's say, unique value of each product. Then you can also specify the column. Then what would be the unique column? Pick code is primary key. So in that case, the meaning is we will look at how many different pick codes we have. We are going to count all the products. That's the meaning. So again, either star or primary key value here, pick code, you can get total number of products. So let's test it. So copy, and here go to SQL, and if you paste it, and if you click go, again, you will get just one number. It's not list of 16 products, so we have this 16. And if you want to apply a certain alias, so let's say we call this as is the keyword, right? So num product, then we can apply it. Also, again, as I told you, instead of pick code, if you are just counting how many rows we have in the product, it doesn't matter. You can just replace this with a star. So this time, let me just use star, and I will just add this alias num product. Okay, so copy, and then here SQL. Let's run it. So here, click go. So you will get the result with alias. Okay, now let's move on to the second example. Another aggregate function we are going to learn here is same aggregate function count, but we want to test whether we can apply some conditions. So here, how many products have a price greater than 100? In this kind of question, again, previously I told you if you need to apply multiple steps, step by step, you can test the result in the middle and then move on. So before we apply aggregate function, first we want to see how many products have prices greater than 100. So let's try to develop that. That's the easy part, right? So here select, I don't care which column, but from product, and we want to apply one condition. Here, given condition is price is greater than 100. So let's just apply it. So P, column name is price is greater than 100. So this is not aggregate function, but you will get the list of products. So let's say SQL, and then let's paste it, and then let's click go. So you will get 4 different products, list of 4 different products. Now, given this result, if you want to count it, now we are summarizing this data. So if you count it 1, 2, 3, 4, instead of this list, we want to get this number 4 as the number of products whose prices are greater than 100. So let's go back to our SQL and let's slightly modify. How can you modify? Instead of this star, now we want to apply the aggregate function count. And we want to count primary key is fine, but we can just simply count all the rows. So in this case, you can use a star. And again, I want to use a alias. This time, let's say we call this expensive product. So let me just use this as an alias. And let's see whether you will get the result of 4, number 4. So go to SQL and apply it, and then click go. So by moving this step-by-step procedure, applying this step-by-step procedures, we confirm there are 4 different products and then apply this aggregate function. So there is much less chances of making mistakes. Now let's move on. Another aggregate function we want to use here is average. So find the average price of all the products. So again, if you go back to product table, we have 16 products. And in this time, we are not just counting how many rows or counting P code, but specific values given here, P price values are given for all 16 products. And we want to get the average of those all price values. So can we do that? Yes, we can. So what we are going to do is, first, I want to again apply step-by procedures. So I will select only P price column from product. What do you expect here? Because there is no condition, we will see list of 16 price information. So let's start with this. Go to your database and apply this. So specific column P price, and from the product with no condition, click go. Now we have these 16 values. Again, aggregation means we want to summarize all these 16 values by getting an average of all those numbers. So we need to apply certain function. So what's the function? Average. So we are going to use the function name AVG. So AVG is the function name, and inside the parentheses, we need to specify the column. What column value? This is the input of this average. So this P price, we know that there are 16 numbers. So if you provide 16 numbers to this function works with the inputs, and then it will generate output. What's the output of this function? The average of 16 values. So let's run this. Go to database, SQL, and let's run it. Click go. So you will get 56.17. That is the average price. So again, you can apply alias, but I will just skip that part. Now let's move on. Another interesting example here is what is the average inventory value. So previously, what is the inventory value? We do not have the specific column, but we can get this information as a derived value. Do you remember? So again, so here, we can reuse the upper part. We use inventory value select statement. Let me just copy one more time here. Okay, so we are going to use this as a base. And let me just simplify a little bit. To explain aggregate function, I'm going to use these two, P code and P price, P quantity on hand, the multiplication like this. And if I use average function for this values, average inventory value, now the meaning is average inventory value. So let me use average inventory value. Actually, we don't need a single quote, so let me just use this as an alias. So now the question is, intentionally I added P code with this aggregate function. If we run it, what do you expect? In this case, we want to get the one number, average P price quantity on hand. But if you look at this column, P code column, how many values we have from product? 16 values. So P code column, it tries to show 16 different P code. But here, this part, average P price quantity on hand, it will generate only one number. Do you think it makes sense? Actually, it does not make sense because here the first one has 16, but here the aggregate function part has only one summary value. So if you run this kind of select statements, you will get the error message. So I want to show you what kind of error message you will get. And I want you to be familiar with this error message. What does it say? In aggregated query, without group by, expression 1 of selected list contains non-aggregated column. When you have this kind of error message, don't be overwhelmed. Try to interpret why this happens. As the error message said, aggregated query include non-aggregated column. Simply what this means is, in this code, which one is non-aggregated column? This one. Because it's not aggregated, it will show over 16 P code. So logically, you cannot combine this with this one aggregated values. So you cannot add a P code in this case, but you will just simply need to get this aggregated value. Does it make sense? Okay, so let's run this. Now you will not have any error message. Go back and SQL, let's replace it. And I'm going to run this aggregate function without P code column. Then it will work. So we will get this average inventory value. And again, in this example, aggregate function can be used with this derived value as well. But just to be careful, when you apply aggregate function, an important note is you cannot add non-aggregated column with this function. Later, when we use group by, you may better understand how it works.